Okay guys, I am in the kitchen cooking homemade biscuits. And so I've already added my ingredients here that I'm gonna need so far. So here I've added 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I've added 1 teaspoon of regular salt. I add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and I add 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, and so I've already include them. So now I'm just making sure that I mix it up well here into the dry ingredients. Okay, and then now I will be adding the butter, and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so we have here the butter. Now you're going to need you need 8 tablespoons of butter, which is typically a stick of butter. Okay, this butter I kept in the freezer. So what we're going to do is we're going to grade the butter into the mixture, but we're going to go ahead and just put it in this bowl for right now. This is already frozen. I got it out of the freezer, which is be easier. So now we're going to go ahead and just grade the butter and get it ready. This is what gives it that fluffy, buttery taste. Some people will just cut the butter into the mixture, but I find that doing this, grating it, is much better. So we're going to grate this. The rest of the stick. This is not 8 tablespoons, but because I used some of it yesterday, but but I'll just get a little bit more from another stick, because usually we're going to melt about 1 teaspoon of it so that I can raise the top of the biscuits once they're done. So this is just to go into the batter. Okay, I have ounces of butter here. Let's get that out of there. See how it's grated like that? It's pretty cool. So all this butter is going to go in your biscuits. And I'll get it all out of here, man. I'm just going to actually put this in the freezer just like this. Look at it. See all the butters? And so I'm going to put this in the freezer, let it freeze, and then it's easier to come off. I want to get every nick and cranny. Okay, guys, I actually, after I shredded the butter, I put it in the freezer to let it just chill a little bit more and see how flaky they are right here. Okay, so this is what you're going to add into your batter right now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and incorporate all the butter into the mixture. It's good to keep it kind of hard because you don't want it to start melting on you. Okay, so you also want to make sure that your oven is nice and hot. You want to go ahead and heat your oven to about 425. Okay, so now we'll just go ahead and incorporate the butter and just mix it up here. And it's nice and flaky. Make sure it's mixed up there. Okay, and then after that's done, you want to go ahead and just kind of like make a little well here in the middle. And I have 1 cup of regular milk. You can use buttermilk. I'm not gonna pour the whole cup at one time. I'm gonna maybe do half or a little bit over, and then just start mixing the dough up. Okay, the key to fluffy biscuits is you do not want to overwork your dough. Okay, so remember that. Do not overwork your dough. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna pour some here, not the whole thing for right now, about that much, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just start to incorporate this. Okay, so just kind of mix it up. Over here, just kind of folding it over into the milk. And I'm going to do this just until it all kind of comes together. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it on my sheet here that I have under the bowl. Okay. And so it's coming together here. It's still a little dry here, so I'm going to add a little more milk, just a little bit. Okay, and then we'll just mix that up as well. Okay, so just still want to kind of fold it in so that it's not too wet, but then you still want to have a little flour in the bowl. Now, and you don't want to have too much flour, because that's another reason why biscuits are dry. So you have too much flour. So, but what I'm going to do is, since I only have this parchment paper here, I don't have like a workable bakery sheet here. I'm gonna go ahead and just add a little flour, just very, very little, not a lot, okay? And then I'm just gonna rub that in so that when I put this dough down, it won't stick. And I'm also gonna put a little bit more on my hands as well, okay? So right here, how it's kind of like this, I'm gonna go ahead and just dump it over onto the sheet. This is just, and then of course you just add the rest of the flour that's in there, okay? So, okay. Take out the fork here, okay. So now, okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit of flour on my hands. I'm not gonna put any more on the thing, just on your hands so that way they can, it won't stick, okay? So now you just wanna go ahead and just start pressing it together. You wanna make like a little square of it. You don't really necessarily need to here. Yeah. I had made some the other day and I felt that I had put too much milk in it because it was still like gummy. Okay, so we're just gonna pat this out a little bit more here. So I think buttermilk is a little bit, the consistency of it is a little different than regular milk. Okay, so I'm just gonna roll over a little bit, pat it out. I may need to add a little bit more flour to my hands. You see it's sticking to my hands, which is okay, but just be careful that you're still not overworking your dough. Okay, so I'm just gonna get a little bit on my hands here. Rubbing it out. We're just gonna go here. So, okay, so once you get your little square here, it's okay that it looks the way it looks. It's okay because see, it's gonna create those layers in your biscuit that you want. Okay, so it's not gonna be a perfect thing here, but you wanna like press it out to maybe like a 1/2 inch, 3/4. Of course, it's not perfect, but it's okay. So then you wanna fold it over in thirds, okay, here. You're gonna fold this over and just press down. Why it keeps sticking to my hands here? Yeah, I think it's the milk. It's the regular milk that makes it. See that's why you shouldn't. It should be like maybe I'm thinking like maybe a 1/2 cup if you're gonna use your regular milk. Because it keeps sticking to my hands. I feel I need to add a little bit more flour to it, which is okay. The thing is if you add more flour, then you're gonna have to add more of the regular ingredients, the baking powder and the sea salt and the baking soda if you add more flour to your dough, okay? So just remember that. But I'm not, I'm just gonna keep, I'm only doing a little bit of flour just to kind of keep my hands from sticking to the dough here. Then, so let's put a little bit more flour on my hands here so I can pat it out, it won't stick to my hands, okay? And then I may need to put a little bit more on the bottom of this as well because I don't want it to stick to the parchment. Okay, so I'm gonna put a square here. And so we're gonna fold it over like maybe 1 or 2 more times. Okay, so go ahead and just do it a third here. And I know it seems to be like, oh, that's a lot of work, you know, but trust me, it's gonna be worth it when you're done. See how it's sticking here? So just kind of be careful. I would just do a little bit more, just a sprinkle of flour there just to kind of get it up. Yeah. See, I'm kind of glad I didn't really, it's okay, just leave it. Because you don't want to overwork your dough, so just leave it here. Okay, I'm not going to do any more folds since it's kind of sticky. So go ahead and just pat this out. Okay. Now to maybe like a 1/2 inch, because this is how it's going to rise when it's baking in the oven, okay? All right, so I'm going to leave it that way. Like I said, nothing's going to be perfect, guys. You just got to just work it how you need to work it. All right, so of course it's ideal to have a baking tool, a cutter, a biscuit cutter actually, but I don't have one. I need to purchase one. But what I did do is one day I went to the Dollar Tree and I found something that I could use because I went looking for one. But what I found was this, which I thought was a good idea, and I've made a few batches of biscuits with this, and it seems to work okay. Of course, like I said, you use what you feel is best and what you have. But what I did was I went to the Dollar Tree and I found a mason jar top. And this is actually what I use to cut my biscuits. So basically I just do this. I put it deep in the flour so that it won't stick. Okay. And then I just go here to the edges and I just press down on it. Try not to turn it too much, just enough to where it cut it a little bit, and then lift it out. And I just do this across the dough. Seeing that this one's gonna be a little bit taller. It's okay. You can still flatten it a little bit more too as you're doing it. And then, so I just basically cut. I can do about 8 biscuits out of this dough here. And just pull it out. Flatten this out a little bit more here. Trying to get as closest to the other biscuits as possible so I can save dough. Just crank a little bit. There you go. All right, so then I just basically pull these out from here. And there you go. So you're gonna have a nice little size biscuit. You know, all of them are not gonna be the same size because my cutter is a little different here, but it's okay. So just kind of gently pull them off. And see, mine is sticking here a little bit because it looks like I need a little bit more flour, but I don't really want to add any more flour because I'm gonna have to add more ingredients, but yeah. So that works. And just keep your scraps because you're gonna go ahead and just fold these back over again. And I'm gonna cut more biscuits out. Okay, there's another biscuit. And you can just see the chips of butter that's in there. See, I don't know if you can see the chips of butter that's in there. It's gonna be so good. Oh my goodness, I can already see it. Okay. Okay, so that's 4 biscuits. So now I'm just gonna take this and I'm just gonna bring it together here. And I'm gonna add a little bit more flour here. Or actually what I'll do is I'm gonna scrape this real quick, just so I have that extra dough sticking, and I'll just add it here. So Okay, you can use a cast iron skillet. Put it in the oven. Let the butter melt, which I should have been did that, but it's okay. But as you can see, here are the biscuits. So the biscuits are nice and round, and that's okay. So they don't have to be perfect, you know, but you got them here. And so this is gonna go into the cast iron skillet. I've used all the dough, which is great. This is gonna be one that's not too perfect, but it's okay. It's gonna be just as delicious. And this is the end of the dough. It's pretty cool. Still see the butter in there. Oh, it's so good. All right, so we've made 9 biscuits. And yeah, so your oven is set at 425, and you're gonna bake them for about 13 to 15 minutes. Then you keep your eye on them, of course, okay? Okay, so there's a skillet. I let the butter melt. So we just start adding the biscuits. Make sure they're touching because they like to rise against the skillet, and it just so that it helps them to rise together. Okay, the biscuits have baked in the oven for on the bake at 425 for about 15 minutes. And I actually, because I like my biscuits a little more browner on top. Now you don't want to overcook your biscuits, so let it go its full duration of 13 to 15 minutes. And then if you want it a little bit darker on the top, because they're going to be a little light, and that's okay because you don't want to overcook your biscuits, put it on broil and let it be on broil so it can only brown the top, okay? That's your preference if you want to do that. I like mine a little bit darker. And then after that, you take them out, keep your eye on them because they'll burn, and then go ahead and do your butter. So now we're just gonna put butter on top of the biscuits, like so. And look how thick they are. Wow, they sound crunchy, smell divine. Okay, so just do it like this. If you don't have a cast iron like I have, it's fine. I mean, you can use a regular pan. Just make sure when you're using your pan that you put your biscuits where they're touching, either the edge of the pan and then close to each other so that they can rise together. Okay. Looks so good. And then I'll pull one out for you so you guys can take a look at the inside of them and see. I'm just gonna go ahead and put all this butter. Just gonna put a little extra butter, y'all. Good. All right. So, let's see which one you want to take out. Let's take out one of these on this side. Let me do this one right here. Okay. So, there's your butter. So now let's go ahead and take this one out right here. You guys can take a look at it. Ouch, careful, it's hot. All right, so there's your biscuit. Look at that. It's nice and rised. Looks good. It's kind of hot here, so bear with me. Actually, let me just put it on a plate, y'all, because that's hot. Plate it real quick so I can show you guys. Here we go. So there it is, right? So let's open it up. Look at that. Ooh, it's flaky. The layers are there. Look at that. Wow, so good. You can put jelly on this, add more butter on the inside, syrup. Wow, that is a amazing biscuit. So now I'm gonna taste it. So let me just take a little bite here, even though it's gonna be hot, y'all. But excuse my fingernail, y'all. My polish came off a week ago. Anyway, so let's actually let me just break it like this too so you guys can see it. Wow, look at that. So good. Okay, let's taste. Okay. Very delicious. Wow. Nice and soft and fluffy. That's a good biscuit, y'all. Okay. You guys gotta make this, okay? Let me know how it turns out for you. Bon appetit. I had to come back real quick and show you guys just the bottom of the biscuit too. Forgot that. Look at that. Golden brown, not burnt. Nice and thick and soft. It's nothing like it, guys.